They all said the same thing whenever her father walked into a room. He's a hero, a decorated war veteran, a respected business owner, a man everyone admired. And for years, Emily Harper believed it too. She believed it with all her heart. She believed it until she found the tapes. Emily's father, Richard Harper, had always been untouchable. Tall, confident, a voice that commanded respect without ever raising itself. In the community, he was flawless. Charity galas, school board meetings, church appearances. At home, he was different, demanding, distant, sharp. Words that cut deeper than fists ever could. Emily had grown up learning one lesson over and over. Obedience is safety. Speak up and you risk everything, especially when your father's influence could silence more than just a child's voice. But Emily was 19 now, recently moved back into her childhood home after college, and she began noticing cracks, files in the attic she wasn't allowed to touch, locked drawers, the hum of an old tape recorder hidden behind stacks of paper, and the way her mother's eyes would dart nervously when the word "Dad" came up. One rainy evening, Emily found herself alone in the study. The house creaked under the storm. Wind rattled in the windows. The hum of the tape recorder caught her attention. Hidden behind a row of encyclopedias, she found a bundle of old VHS tapes labeled in her father's neat handwriting, "Confidential, do not watch." Curiosity and fear warred in her chest, but she pressed play. The first image flickered onto the screen. Her father smiling at a camera. At first, he seemed harmless, charming even, but then the footage shifted. Conversations with powerful business associates discussing bribery, intimidation, and manipulations she could barely comprehend. Then came the worst, recordings of threats and coercion aimed at employees and neighbors, people who had trusted him blindly, people who had disappeared. Her stomach churned. The man she had idolized, the man who held the world in awe, had built his life on lies, fear, and control. Emily wanted to run, to escape, but she realized something critical. She had the evidence to expose him, and for the first time, she felt power, not in her father's control, but in her hands. For weeks, she meticulously copied the tapes, documented every detail, and created a secure digital archive. She reached out to investigators anonymously, sent anonymous tips to journalists, and carefully planned the moment when her father's empire of fear would unravel. Then came the confrontation. Richard Harper called her into his study, calm, smiling, unaware that his secrets were already circulating among the people who could take him down. "You've changed, Emily," he said, eyes sharp as ever. "Do you think you're in control now?" Emily held his gaze. "Control isn't yours anymore," she said. "Not for me, not for them." He laughed, a deep, unsettling laugh. "You really think a few tapes can ruin me? I've built this life with influence, with fear. You're a child playing with matches." She didn't flinch. She had learned that courage isn't absence of fear, it's acting despite it. And as his smile faltered for the first time, she realized the power had shifted. The underdog had become the one who could dictate the narrative. Public exposure came next. News outlets, anonymous online forums, investigative journalists, all converged on Richard Harper's empire. Sponsors withdrew. Board members resigned. His closest associates vanished, afraid to be associated with his downfall. The community that had once cheered for him now recoiled, whispering behind closed doors about the hero they had misjudged. Emily watched from the sidelines, a mixture of relief and sorrow washing over her. Justice had been served, but the personal cost was immense. The father she loved was gone, replaced by the monster she had uncovered. The mother, who had been complicit through silence, now faced the reality of complicity in the shadows. Yet Emily felt something profound. She had not just exposed the truth, she had freed herself from fear. She had learned that admiration does not always equate to virtue, and that courage is found in confronting uncomfortable truths. But as the dust settled, Emily noticed something she hadn't before: a single unmarked tape lying in the corner of the study, hidden beneath old ledgers. Her heart pounded. She picked it up, examining it. No label, no warning, just the promise of secrets yet uncovered. And then she realized the terrifying possibility. Perhaps what she had found so far was only the tip of the iceberg. Perhaps her father's influence, his network, his manipulations extended far beyond what she had uncovered. Her hands shook as she held the tape. One truth was clear. She was no longer a child, no longer an underdog. But some battles, she realized, were far from over. The tape would either reveal the full extent of her father's empire, or it could unleash consequences she wasn't ready to face. Emily's phone buzzed. An anonymous email arrived. Subject line: "You're closer than you think, but not safe yet." She swallowed hard. Her pulse raced. Someone was watching. Someone knew what she had discovered, and the tape in her hands might be the key to even darker truths. She had survived the first wave. She had toppled a hero-turned-villain. But one thing was terrifyingly certain: the story was far from over. Emily's hands trembled as she stared at the unmarked tape. The storm outside had passed, but inside the house, the tension was heavier than ever. She had already toppled her father's public image, but now a deeper, darker layer of his empire waited to be uncovered. Whoever had sent the email knew she had the tape, and they were watching. She hesitated before inserting it into the player. The screen flickered to life. Her father's calm face appeared, but this time it wasn't recorded years ago. It was recent. Her father's calm face appeared, but this time it wasn't recorded years ago. It was recent. His smile carried the same charm that had deceived a town, but his eyes were colder, sharper, almost triumphant. Behind him, she noticed a map with pins and notes in red ink. Addresses, dates, and names she didn't recognize. The video shifted. Her father spoke directly to the camera. "Emily, if you're seeing this, you're exactly where I wanted you to be. You've proven yourself clever, perhaps too clever. But there's more you don't know." The footage then showed men and women, powerful figures, officials, business owners, meeting secretly in dimly lit rooms. Contracts exchanged hands. Hands shook, and then, quietly, threats were made. Her father's network was larger than she could have imagined. Emily's stomach twisted. He wasn't just a man hiding skeletons. He was an architect of fear, a puppeteer who had orchestrated control for decades. Every disappearance, every silence every influence peddled. It was all intentional. And now, she had stumbled into the center of it. Her phone buzzed again. Another email. Anonymous. You've gone too far. Some doors are not meant to open. Emily's mind raced. Her father was behind bars, but clearly his reach remained. She had to act fast, but carefully. She began cataloging the new footage, identifying faces, recording dates, and cross-referencing locations. She knew that leaking this would bring the network down. But it could also put her life in danger. Days passed. Emily noticed she was being followed. Shadows at the edges of the driveway. A black car parked a block away. Someone leaving notes slipped under her door. Fear clawed at her. But for the first time, it didn't paralyze her. Courage had replaced obedience. She would finish what she started. One evening, she returned to the house to retrieve additional tapes her father had hidden in the attic. The air was thick with dust and old secrets. Her flashlight swept across the walls until it landed on a hidden trapdoor she hadn't seen before. Heart hammering, she lifted it. A narrow staircase descended into darkness. The hum of electricity, faint but steady, emanated from below. Emily descended slowly. At the bottom, a steel door stood, ominously. She pressed the unmarked tape against her chest, hesitating for a moment. Then she inserted it into a hidden player embedded in the wall. The door clicked open. Inside was a room filled with rows of monitors, surveillance equipment, and filing cabinets overflowing with more evidence. Photographs, audio recordings, and documents implicating everyone from city council members to wealthy donors. She realized with a sinking feeling that her father had planned for this. He had created a contingency archive, proof not just of his own crimes, but of anyone who could threaten him. A sudden movement in the shadows made her freeze. Someone else was in the room, not a ghost, not a figure of imagination, but a person. Someone tall, cloaked in black, eyes glinting under the dim light. "Who are you?" Emily demanded. The figure stepped forward. "You're brave and foolish," a voice said. "Your father underestimated you, but he also prepared for you." Emily's heart raced. She knew this confrontation could be fatal. She reached into her backpack and pulled out her phone, ready to live stream, to expose everything immediately. The stranger's eyes narrowed. "You're not ready for what's coming," the figure warned, "and neither is the world." Before Emily could react, the lights went out. The monitors flickered and died, leaving her in complete darkness. The hum of the equipment stopped. Silence filled the room, broken only by her ragged breathing. A metallic click echoed. Emily realized the door she had entered through was now locked. Her pulse thundered in her ears. Somewhere in the shadows, the stranger moved closer. The tape in her hands felt heavier than ever. The truth was still there, but getting it out seemed impossible. And then a note slid across the floor, written in the same precise handwriting she had learned to fear. "Some truths are too dangerous to release unless you want to disappear like the others." Emily swallowed hard. She had faced her father, exposed his empire, survived the first wave, but now she was trapped in a room filled with secrets that could destroy lives, and someone was willing to kill to keep them hidden. She gripped the tape tighter, realizing one terrifying fact: the story was far from over. Whoever was in the shadows had plans for her, and the next move would determine not just her future, but the fate of everyone her father had manipulated. The room remained dark. The stranger was still there. And Emily knew with bone-deep certainty that escaping with the truth alive would take more than courage. It would take cunning, strategy, and a risk she wasn't sure she could survive.